So it seems like 2023 was the year of the GMT watch. So many micro brands, so many major brands. Seems like everybody was producing GMT watches. And I think some people got a little bit tired of that, but I didn't. GMT watches are my absolute favorite complication on watches. If I could have a GMT hand on every single one of my watches, I would definitely take it. So this was a great year for me. GMT watches are amazing for traveling, and I've actually got some traveling coming up in 2024. I'm going to be going to the Philippines, Singapore, and over to America, which is why I'm very happy that Carl Friedrik has sponsored this video and has sent over their Carry-On Pro luggage along with a really cool passport holder. I'll be showing you those products as well in this video. But let's take a quick look at the watches and then start jumping through this list. Hey guys, welcome back to Just the Watch. My name's Dave. I live in Japan and I love to collect affordable watches. Again, probably GMT watches more than anything. Because I live here in Japan, I'm not actually Japanese. I'm from America. I've lived here for about 10 years now, but I have a lot of friends back in the US and in different time zones. So I love being able to have a watch that shows me the time back in the United States or when I'm traveling in the places I'm going to be going. It's just such a useful feature for me. And it just helps me feel a little bit more connected to all of my friends back home. Living in a foreign country, there's just something really cool about also having your home time freely available on your wrist. Now, I want to highlight 5 of my favorite GMT watches that you can pick up right now. We've got a number of different styles of watches, from pilot's watches to dress watches to more dive style watches. We've got different prices, different sizes. I think there should be a GMT watch for everybody here on this list. So let's start off with the most affordable watch on this list, the one that I have been wanting to pick up for a while, and that is the T9 from Torgoen watches. The T9 is Torgoen's most affordable watch that they offer, which is kind of surprising given that it's a pretty full-featured GMT watch. It has 100 meters of water resistance, a Swiss Ronda quartz GMT movement, surprisingly high-quality leather strap, and the option to upgrade to a sapphire crystal, which I would definitely recommend doing. And even with all that, you can usually pick these up for right around $200 or sometimes a lot less when they go on sale. I got mine on a Black Friday sale, and I think I spent around $150. Which is really good for the level of quality and specifications that they're giving you here. The thing that really appealed to me about Torgoen is that classic pilot's watch style. The T9 features large Arabics at 12, 3, 6, and 9, with all of the markers as well as the hand outlines done in a navy blue that contrasts beautifully against the cream dial on this colorway. And while pilot's watches are traditionally on the large side, at 42 millimeters, this one really nails the sweet spot between visibility and wearability. And while I love automatic watches and the rest of the watches we're going to be looking at on this list are all automatics, it's really great to have a grab-and-go quartz piece. Not only is it more convenient and accurate than an automatic watch, you also tend to save a good deal of money as well going with quartz. As an affordable option, I was really impressed with the Torgoen T9, and I look forward to taking a look at more from them in the future. Now, GMT watches make excellent traveling companions. One of the most important things you need when you're traveling is to be able to tell what time it is so that you don't miss flights or trains or buses or all of these different scheduling items that you have when traveling. And a GMT watch not only keeps you on time for your travels, but it lets you know what time it is, where you're going, so that you can coordinate with other people when you get there. So when I'm traveling, I always want to have a GMT watch on my wrist. But another thing that I found that is extremely helpful when traveling is nice luggage. Now, ever since I was in high school, I've done a lot of traveling around the world. It's been a great experience, but I started out using mostly cheap duffel bags. And as I've gotten older and had more kids, I found having a good, high quality piece of luggage makes all the difference getting around airports and things. And that's why I'm really excited to check out the Carry-On Pro from Carl Friedrik, because I'm going to be using that in my upcoming travels in 2024. The Carry-On Pro from Carl Friedrik is pretty much my dream carry-on bag. It's basically the perfect one-bag solution for traveling. Not only is it incredibly functional and well-built, it's also beautiful with lots of cool little luxury accents. The Pro version of the Carl Friedrik Carry-On has a front pocket which stores your laptop and other accessories, making it very easy to access when you need it, especially when you're going through security lines at airports. Normally when I'm traveling, I carry my laptop in a backpack or something like that, but now I no longer have to. I can just have everything in one bag, and that's amazing. And this thing is really easy to pack with lots of organizational features built into it, including a variety of zippered pockets that can hold small items. And I really like that rather than using a zipper to secure the main bag, this has 2 latches. This makes it very easy to close the bag, and the latches also have built-in TSA-compliant combination locks. Finally, the wheels on this bag are insanely smooth and they rotate 360 degrees, making it incredibly easy to maneuver through airports and train stations. Carl Friedrik also has a large selection of high-quality leather bags and accessories, and I'll leave an affiliate link to their store down below in the description for you to check out if you're interested. Okay, next up, we're going to take a look at what I think is the original GMT watch. We're going to be checking out a Glycine Airman, and this is one of their newer ones. So next I want to show you my special edition Glycine Airman with a fully loomed orange dial. I've been looking to add a Glycine Airman to my collection for a while now. Not only do I love the history behind this iconic Pilot's GMT watch, I also love the functionality and just the really purpose-built design behind it. This is one of the first watches that was purpose-built from the ground up to meet the needs of pilots who cross different time zones on a regular basis. Notably, it predates the Rolex GMT Master by a few years, and because the Rolex GMT Master had such a huge influence on GMT watch design, I think this one predating it kind of goes a different direction in a lot of its design choices. It's really unlike any other GMT out there today. And while this is a modern version of the Airman, it still retains a lot of those same classic design choices. It has a bidirectional friction fit bezel that has a locking mechanism on it with a second crown. The 24-hour markings on the bezel combined with the 24-hour markings on the dial as well allow this watch to track up to 3 time zones with the inclusion of that GMT hand on this version. This particular version is the GL0462. It features a Swiss-made automatic GMT movement based on the ETA 2893-2 and a striking full loomed orange dial. The exact shade of orange is really hard to capture on camera. In person, it's almost like a pale neon orange. It kind of reminds me of faded orange golf balls. And despite it being orange, it does glow pretty decently after dark. From a legibility and functionality standpoint, they nailed absolutely everything. There's just such great contrast between the black markers and hands and that dial. The one exception is with the bezel. It is a fully blacked out bezel and a fully blacked out case, but because of it, the bezel is fairly difficult to read. Aesthetically, it looks really cool, but I would have preferred if the bezel had some kind of filled paint on the markers to make it easier to read. Pricing on Glycine Airmans can be all over the place. I see them down as low as $500 sometimes, but retail is up over $1,000. I got mine on sale from Ashford for I think around $550. And while there is also a tamer version of this watch featuring a white dial that glows green in the dark, I'm having a hard time finding the orange one in stock in a lot of places right now, so you might have to hunt around for that if you're interested in this particular one. Okay, moving on to our third watch is another new one. This is one that I had my eyes on for a while. It's from a micro brand based out of Belgium called Gavox. So I contacted Gavox and told them I was doing this video, asked if they would be willing to send this one in. And they offered to actually give me the watch. So this is one that they gave me to keep. So big thanks to them for that. They call this one the Avidiver 2 because it's a combination dive watch and aviation watch. I feel like it leans more on the aviation watch stylings, which is why I'm personally drawn to it. However, Gavox in their design did include all the features necessary for diving, making this a very interesting hybrid. The dial and handset clearly follows Pilot's watch standards, with a bold sword-shaped hour and minute hand and large numerals at 3, 6, and 9. But beyond that, this watch features a ton of very interesting design choices. Right off the bat, you can see that this watch features dual crowns, calling to mind the classic compressor-style dive watches of the past. But rather than that second crown controlling an inner rotating bezel, instead it controls a triangular floating marker. And according to Gavox's designer, this is meant to be a multi-purpose marker that can be used for a variety of functions. By aligning it with your minute hand, you can track elapsed minutes. Align it with your hour hand, you can track elapsed hours. Or if you want to track a third time zone, you can line it up with an offset to remind you of what the time would be in the third time zone. And this is a pretty interesting concept. A bezel with all of its markings would allow any one of these features to be read more rapidly and without having to do any mental gymnastics. But by having only a marker, it allows you to use it for pretty much whatever you want to, trading ease of use for a great deal of flexibility. It also looks really cool to be able to place that hovering triangle wherever you want on the dial. It's a bit of a quirky design, but I really like it. Now, this is a very large watch at 44 millimeters, so be aware of that. But even still, I found it very comfortable on my 7.5-inch wrist. And if that's too big, you might check out the Gavox Longitude, which they also sent over, along with a couple of other watches. So I'm definitely going to be doing a deeper dive into Gavox in the coming months. Okay, moving on to number 4 on the list is one that I believe I checked out at the very beginning of 2023, and that is the Maen Hudson 38 GMT. As the name suggests, this is a 38 millimeter watch. It's based on their Hudson Diver, so this is a dive style GMT. But because of its small size, it doesn't really wear that much like a diver. I totally fell in love with this watch when Maen sent it over for review early on in 2023. And this is despite the fact that this is a 38 millimeter watch with a bezel, which typically wears kind of small on my 7-inch wrist. But on a bracelet, I think this works really well and just has a classic look to it. If you like the look of the Rolex GMT Master but don't have tens of thousands of dollars to blow on a watch, this might be a good one to look at. While the GMT Master is a clear influence on this Maen Hudson 38 GMT, it's definitely not an homage or copy by any stretch. The design has a vintage flair with some beautifully shaped hour and minute hands, and while they have a couple of different bezel options, my favorite was this brown and black two-tone bezel. The domed sapphire crystal gives off some wonderful distortions at the edges. Combining all of this with the outstanding finishing, this is a really beautiful watch that has a premium look to it. Inside, it is powered by the Swiss-made Soprod C125 automatic GMT movement, and you're also getting a very impressive 300 meters of water resistance on this watch. Maen has this one listed on their website for $918. Okay, moving on to our final watch on the list, we're going to be checking out the Vario Empire GMT. This is one that I reviewed pretty recently, but I wanted to bring it back on this list just because it's such a unique GMT watch. This is kind of a dress GMT. So if you're the kind of person who travels for business and you like to have a dress watch on your wrist, something that will look good with a suit, I think this one definitely qualifies. And at the same time, it's one of the most beautifully designed micro-brand watches on the market. I wanted to include something outside of your traditional, more sports-oriented GMT watches. So if you're looking for something a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit more dressy, I think the Vario Empire GMT is a great one to take a look at. It features a modest 38mm case, and it can be picked up on either a premium Italian leather strap or a very nice 5-link stainless steel bracelet. Inside, it's powered by the newly released Miyota 9075 True GMT movement, making this an ideal choice for people who cross time zones on a regular basis. The watch features a striking dial with multiple detailed finishes and a GMT scale that integrates perfectly into the sector dial design. Pretty much everything about this watch is unique, from the skeletonized handset to the Art Deco font used in the numerals to that beautiful onion-style crown. And given that this is part of Vario's Seasons collection, it's available in a number of really fresh, vibrant dial shades. This is the summer edition, which has a sky blue dial that has a little bit of a metallic finish to it, and it's available direct from Vario for right around $700. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. Again, big thanks to Carl Friedrik for sponsoring this video by sending in the Carry-On Pro and the Easton Passport holder, as well as to the brands who sent in watches for this video. Links to Carl Friedrik as well as the watches featured are going to be down in the description. Also, drop me a comment down below. Let me know what your favorite watch was that was featured in this video, or if you have a different watch that you think is a better GMT that's available in these price ranges, let me know what your favorite GMT is. Love to continue this discussion down below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.